Hey everyone, Nighthawk871 here. Just a quick overview of how I made my own hop-up bucking for my Tanaka gas rifle. I apologize for the nasally voice, I'm getting over a cold, but anyways, I have the Best Gun hop-up installed on my rifle, but after a few years the hop-up bucking started to tear after disassembling the rifle, and as you can see here, it's no good anymore. So, in being the company that Best Gun is, their parts are extremely hard to find. I toyed with the ideas of trying different styles of hop-up rubbers before I came to the conclusion that, well, I'll just make my own. So having extra silicone casting rubber left over from a 3D printer project, I decided to give it a shot to see if it would be plausible. And as you can see here, the first attempt with Umu 25, it didn't turn out too good. The casting came out really well, but after just simply pulling it, it tore to shreds and it didn't work. But the concept was there, so I figured I'd give it a shot with something better. So I went and got Vytaflex 50, which is a shore hardness of 50 urethane rubber. This is about $28 to $30 at my local science and hobby store. And so I decided to cast like that. And in order to make the die and mold to actually cast the part, I took about a 5-inch piece of 3/4 inch round stainless steel and machined this end here, which is actually to the profile of the barrel, as you can see. Bring that up a little closer. So that matches that. This end here is where the nozzle seals. As you can see, I've started a cutout for the ER hop. This is obviously too short for an ER hop, making it a regular R hop. Don't mind the crud here on the barrel. That's from electrical tape that I used to center the actual hop chamber, this piece. And so, but with the Best Gun rubber, it was just a tad bit longer than this. Obviously it tore at the end, so it's shorter now. It barely goes past the cutout and doesn't seal very well. So, after making this part, I cut a sleeve on my lathe, which I bored out to the same size inner diameter as the original hop-up chamber. So the outer diameter of the bucking is the same size. And so this is actually the first piece I've made. This is still residual leftovers from when I just pulled the casting out. But anyways, I started with placing the sleeve there, sealing around it with putty, or just a blue clay for casting. Mixed up about 1/4 ounce of the urethane rubber, poured it in, and then I slowly inserted this, centered it, and let it sit overnight. Obviously there was some spillage, but not too much. I actually used the leftovers to pour on a thin plate so I could test the strength, and this stuff is pretty strong. It's made for casting concrete. I don't have any fears of it ripping or tearing while I'm actually using the rifle, so it should be good. I have read of urethane hop-up bucking soaking up silicone oil, expanding, swelling, causing jams, but being in a gas rifle, I don't expect much oil to get on the hop-up bucking to begin with, so I'm not too worried about it. And if it does happen, I always have a bunch more to make more hop-up rubbers, because with this kit alone I could probably make at least 200 to 250 hop-up rubbers, because as you can see it barely uses any rubber at all. This one turned out extremely well. I'm pretty happy with the first attempt. As you can see, there's the inner bore. I don't know if you can see the inner rings where it matches the barrel. There are a couple small air bubbles within the rubber itself. I'm not too worried about it because the bubbles are inside of the rubber, and the inside is completely smooth, as is the outside. You might be able to see the finishing marks from the sleeve I made. But as soon as this was cured and dried, I chucked this piece back up on my lathe, slipped this over, and then spun it and used sandpaper to clean the edges a bit and to make it look a little bit nicer. And the final product fits over the barrel like so, and as you can see it goes a considerable amount more over the actual cutout of the barrel. which will allow me to mill out a longer hop-up window to use an ER hop, and it'll provide a lot better seal. And I have my bolt here. It actually seals against the nozzle extremely well, so I'm not too concerned about it leaking, especially when the hop-up rubber will be placed inside the chamber. It actually compresses a little bit, which will make a little bit better seal and help with consistency a lot. And being this going into, or my rifle being converted to an ER hop, I did not put an internal nub. It's completely smooth on the inside. But if some people wish to have this as a one-piece hop-up with the nub, all they'd have to do is use a Dremel, files, whatever. I like the more technical approach of actually measuring the distance of your cutout window, transferring it to your die, and then actually milling out a slot or a flat spot if you wish to go with the flat hop way. I haven't considered that yet, being the first prototype. I just tried it to see if it would work, and I'm actually quite pleased with it. Properties are pretty much the same as the original Best Gun hop-up rubber. Obviously you could tell the length is a lot longer and it's not torn. But it's a tad bit softer. I'm not sure what the shore hardness of the Best Gun hop-up rubbers are, but it's definitely around 50, maybe 55, 60. But yeah, as you can see, they're get into focus here. As you can see, they are pretty much identical in and out, and that's pretty much it. I haven't had a chance to test this out yet. I'm actually waiting for some parts from Vytaflex to come in. I have on order the G&G hop-up chamber. Obviously, the infamous cracked part for the Tanakas happened to mine about 2 weeks into owning the rifle. I tried to patch it up with some CA glue, which didn't work. This blue putty is when I actually casted this part with the hop-up sealing chamber in it to make this. And this is when I first heard about ER hops by Hunter Seeker 5, and I wanted to design a hop-up chamber that would accommodate my Tanaka rifle. And the plan for this is, obviously this is one solid piece so far, but I want to chuck it up in a 4-jaw chuck, bore out the correct profile into here, which will allow me to fit the barrel in, and I will mill out this top part here all the way to the front to match the contact patch length, which will allow me to put a nub in there to evenly distribute the pressure. But going back to the reason for this video, is just a quick overview of how I made hop-up rubbers. These things are between $10 and $30 for a simple piece of rubber, which I think is ridiculous for something you can make at home. I mean, for $30 I can make a couple hundred of these easily. It just takes a while because it takes overnight to cure. But yeah, that's pretty much the video. Hope you like it. Hopefully inspired some of you to break away from expensive hop-up rubbers if you want to challenge yourself and make your own hop-ups. And I will probably be updating this in the future when I actually get a chance to test out this hop-up bucking with the ER hop, and I will post results. Thanks.